Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we're going to be doing a little bit of technical analysis on Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency markets, and more specifically, we're going to be talking about this little decision point that we see coming up for Bitcoin, because as you can see, Bitcoin is very deep into a triangle consolidation pattern right here, which is going to be ending in the next week or so. You can see both the uptrend of support and the downtrend of resistance cross in a little over a week, so more than likely, we're going to see some kind of breakout, be it bullish or bearish, coming from this triangle pattern, coming out of Bitcoin here over the next week and a half or so, and we're going to be discussing which direction I think Bitcoin is going to break out of this, and we're going to talk about a little bit of price history that has developed over the last 24 hours since the last video has gone live. There's a little bit to talk about on Bitcoin, but the main story for today actually comes from the cryptocurrency BAT, otherwise known as Basic Attention Token. BAT has just gotten a listing on Coinbase Pro, and that is going to have massive ramifications for the price action of that cryptocurrency, and we're going to be discussing that in today's video. So without much further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. I think we do have a good video lined up for today. Now, there isn't a whole lot to talk about on the short term for Bitcoin, so we'll go ahead and get it out of the way here first and foremost. What I do want to talk about is that we've seen a little bit more volatility come back into the Bitcoin market. What we saw for 2.5 weeks or so over here is that Bitcoin basically traded perfectly sideways right around the price level of $6,400. As you can see, Bitcoin wobbled up and down, right above and below this just this level of support and resistance of $6,400. And I don't know about you guys, that was kind of boring, and I'm glad that it's starting to come to an end, or at least it seems that it is. We can see that Bitcoin is finally starting to have some little rallies and downtrends that are at least visible on the hourly chart, if not so visible on the daily chart. But what we've seen over the last couple of days is that Bitcoin has had a nice little uptrend here, coming up and testing resistance at a longer-term downtrend of resistance that Bitcoin currently finds itself under. And this downtrend of resistance constitutes the downtrend of resistance in this triangle pattern that's going to be closing in on itself here coming over the next couple of weeks. And over the last 24 to 48 hours or so, Bitcoin has been trending downwards a little bit from here. We've very much rejected from this downtrend of resistance, at least for now, but we're going to see how this plays out into the rest of this triangle pattern, and hopefully we're going to break bullish out of it. But like I said, we'll be discussing that in a little bit more detail here in a little bit. I do want to go ahead and get onto the crypto market recap though, and sort by market capitalization. You guys already saw what we're going to talk about there, because there's something very interesting that we want to talk about on CoinMarketCap as it relates to the news story for today. As we can see, Bitcoin's trading up around $6,350 across all exchanges. And one thing I want to point out here at the outset is that Tether is very, very close to being back to exactly where it's supposed to be priced, of right around $1. We've seen Tether trade quite a bit below $1 for the last month or so, and we've seen it come back up here and get close to $1 a couple of times. In fact, if we give this a refresh, it may be trading at exactly $1. It's a little bit closer now, but it's very, very close, and I'm glad to see that Tether is actually back to trading where it's supposed to be. When Tether first went and jumped off that little metaphorical cliff and ran down to around 91 to 92 cents, I had a lot of people worried, or I didn't have a lot of people worried, but I saw a lot of people worried that Tether was going to implode, and that might potentially drive Bitcoin below key levels of support at $6,000, for example. And that didn't really happen, and I wasn't really thinking that that was going to happen, because we've seen Tether do this kind of thing in the past. But long story short, I am glad to see that Tether is back trading where it's supposed to be. With that in mind, there is still a slight discrepancy between price action on Coinbase and on Bitfinex. You can see this right up here is Coinbase's price action, and this right down here is Bitfinex's price action. If I were to wager why there's still a discrepancy there, it's simply because arbitrage hasn't caught up with the major gap that's been between these two exchanges as far as Bitcoin's price action is concerned, and there is still just a little bit of a discrepancy there since Tether isn't trading at exactly $1. Coinbase trades over actual US dollars, and Bitfinex trades over US dollar Tether. So I do think that that's probably going to be closing in on itself, hopefully as a little bit more trust comes back into Tether. Anyway, that's not really the main thing we want to talk about today. The main thing that we want to talk about shows up if we sort by change over the last 24 hours, because as you can see, our only double-digit gainer for today's video is Basic Attention Token. If we click here, we can see that BAT is up by 17.5%, trading around 30 cents. Basic Attention Token was trading under 20 cents not that long ago, earlier on last month, and it's been doing quite well. Its all-time highs up here close to $1, and I do reckon that after we talk about, or the news that we're going to be talking about in today's video, may end up bringing Basic Attention Token back up closer to that. We're going to be talking about Basic Attention Token a little bit more later on in the video as we get to the news section of today's video. But for now, just know that Basic Attention Token is looking very, very bullish because of this fundamental news that we're going to be discussing here in a second. Bitcoin's daily volume is hovering around $4 billion, and if we sort by change over the last 24 hours again, we're going to see that the market is basically split. We see a lot of green and we see a lot of red. It's really just basically split down the middle. We see some green, see some red. It's one of those kind of neutral days, if you want to call it that. We do see just a little bit more red than green, though. Anyway, I think that's everything that we wanted to cover on CoinMarketCap. So let's get back into the TA on Bitcoin and try to get a feel for where Bitcoin is going to go as it relates to this triangle pattern, because this is rather important. I talked about this briefly in yesterday's video. I talked about this a lot in yesterday's video, actually, but I didn't talk about what I'm going to be discussing right now in yesterday's video, and that's where I see this breaking. I talked about how we were going to see a breakout, but I didn't exactly talk about where I thought it was going to be breaking and using technical analysis to show which direction I thought it was going to be breaking. I did say that I think it would be breaking bullish. But anyway, one thing that I do want to point out is the uptrend of support. Like I've said in many videos, this is a very, very important uptrend of support. I can't stress it enough how important it is that Bitcoin stays above this. It's not the end of the world if we fall below it, but this uptrend of support right here, I'm going to say the exact same diatribe that I've said like 20 times on this channel, is very important because it constitutes the trend for Bitcoin to make consecutive higher lows over the last several months. We've seen Bitcoin making higher lows right there, right there, right up here, right there, right over here, and more recently, right over here. We've seen Bitcoin make a lot of higher lows, and that is very important because we're looking for Bitcoin to continue on into this accumulation phase and start gradually moving up and pulling itself up from its bootstraps out of this actual bear market and into a new bull market. And one of the great catalysts that you can see on the technicals for that is the market making higher lows, and I'm very happy to see it doing that. The next thing that we want to see happen, of course, is for Bitcoin to make higher highs. We want to see it get above $6,800, then above $7,400, and then above $8,400, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's go ahead and talk about this triangle pattern, because it is rather important. And it's not all that important because I want to see Bitcoin break bullish out of it. That's actually not why I'm saying that this is important. I'm saying that this triangle pattern that Bitcoin is in right now is important because of what happens if we break bearish out of it. If we break bearish out of it, it's quite bad. If we break bullish out of it, it's not really all that big a deal. I'd like to see it, but it's not really it's not going to start a new bull market or anything. But I really don't want to see Bitcoin break bearish below this uptrend of support for the reasons I just laid out. This is an important uptrend of support. If we come back down to $6,000, like I said, not the end of the world. I just really would not like to see that trend broken. That's a very good trend that honestly Bitcoin could go the rest of human history and never break that uptrend. That's a shallow enough uptrend that if we drag it out into the future, it doesn't give us ridiculous price action. If we drag it out over here later on into next year, it only has support around $6,700, and I can see Bitcoin trading well above $10,000 by the end of quarter one of next year is what I was trying to say. So I do want to see Bitcoin break bullish out of this. So let's go ahead and discuss the technicals that lead me to believe that I think we probably are going to see a bullish break out of this. This can really go either way, but there's a couple different things that I want to discuss here that lead me to believe that we're probably going to break this downtrend rather than the uptrend. The first thing is pretty simple, and it just comes down to gauging the strength of levels of support and resistance. And that's such an important thing in technical analysis in general that there's an entire video dedicated to it in the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy that is linked in the description. It's a very, very important thing because you want to be able to understand how strong levels of support and resistance are, because sometimes a level of support and resistance will come down to single combat. They'll come into a little battle right here where you see the market trying to break one or the other, and one of them has to give. Very rarely will Bitcoin or any market trade straight sideways out of a downtrend of resistance. That said, we've seen Bitcoin do that very recently with this downtrend that was coming something like this. We've seen Bitcoin trade completely sideways out of it. It does happen sometimes, but it's unlikely and it normally doesn't happen. That was a very, very long-term downtrend of resistance. This is a much shorter one and is more likely to actually be broken out with a proper volume-backed breakout rather than just be traded straight sideways out of. And I think we're going to break bullish out of it because of that level, because of the strength of that level of support and resistance argument that I just brought up. Because what we see is that this is a very important uptrend of support. I've talked about in many, many videos why I think it's an uptrend of support. I just laid out why it's an important uptrend of support, and I'm not the only one that thinks that. Anyone that does technical analysis and has looked at this chart for more than 5 minutes and they know what they're doing is going to see this uptrend of support, and they're going to realize how important it is for the beginning of a new bull market. And when you have a very strong level of support that everyone sees, it kind of becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, because I promise you guys, there are a lot of buy orders right below this uptrend of support. There are a lot of them because people want to, one, defend this, and two, they realize that everybody else wants to defend it, so everybody's putting buy orders below it. In my opinion, this uptrend of support is going to be stronger than this downtrend of resistance simply because of the greater significance that it holds. Another thing that I want to discuss actually shows up on the daily chart with the Heikin-Ashi. I did lay this out in yesterday's video, but we've seen a little bit of an update, so I want to go ahead and discuss it. We did see Heikin-Ashi turn green in the last couple of days. Like I said, I can't get into this video what we're discussing really here and so far is what Heikin-Ashi actually means, but we did see Heikin-Ashi turn green a couple of days ago, and like I said in yesterday's video, and like I say in a video in the course actually, when you see Heikin-Ashi turn green, one thing that you want to see is for MACD to also cross bullish a couple days after Heikin-Ashi turns green. Because when that happens, you normally see a rally. Normally, not always. Sometimes you do see fake outs, like over here. We saw it cross bullish. We saw a little bit of a rally. Not really anything all that significant. Same thing over here. We saw Bitcoin trade sideways. But normally, when you see Heikin-Ashi turn green and you see a bullish MACD cross to follow that, you're normally going to see some kind of rally. We see an example of it right here. We see the inverse when Heikin-Ashi turns red, and then a bearish cross on the MACD started a downtrend. We see when bullish MACD happened over here, and then Heikin-Ashi turned green over here. We saw a rally. That's typically the kind of pattern that you see. They're normally correlated. And what we've seen recently is that Heikin-Ashi has turned green, and MACD is dangerously close to crossing bullish here on the daily chart. And we have already crossed bullish on the regular candlesticks because the candlestick type kind of alters the way the way MACD is calculated. We can see that we've already crossed bullish here, even though we started trending downwards a little bit. So what we're probably going to see here, in my opinion, is that Bitcoin may come down here and test this uptrend of support, and then we're going to break bullish out of it. I think we are going to break bullish out of this. We're going to break bullish, or we're going to see Bitcoin trade out of this and not go below this uptrend of support. I don't see Bitcoin falling below that uptrend of support anytime soon. With that said, guys, I do want to make it clear, just because I say that doesn't mean that's not going to happen. There's always a percentage chance, probably a 20-30% chance that Bitcoin does break that uptrend of support. You always want to protect yourself with stop losses, but I also don't think that it's going to actually happen. Anyway, with that out of the way, there's one more thing I want to discuss, which I also talked about in yesterday's video, which is the shorts chart. I talked about how the shorts were falling, and another day has come and gone, and we've seen shorts continue to fall. We can see that the shorts are continuing to go red. We see shorts falling off, and we haven't seen shorts this low in a very long time, since the beginning of September, actually. And I'm very happy to see that, because when shorts are falling, what that means is that buying pressure is being put on the market, which helps to prop the market up. And it also means that a lot less people are betting against the market, which means more bullish sentiment is coming into the market. Because if more bullish sentiment wasn't coming into the market, well, then shorts wouldn't be falling, would they? Unless someone's manipulating this and making a bunch of fake shorts, because this doesn't count shorts volume. This counts this counts the number of shorts on Bitfinex, excuse me. Anyway, I do believe that's all we wanted to cover on the actual technical analysis in today's video. Like I said, I do think we're going to break bullish out of this. I'm not saying that we're going to go up here and break $6,800 or anything just yet, but I do think we're going to break bullish out of this and see a little bit more bullish price action coming here over the next week or so. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get back onto the news that we discussed earlier on in the video when we looked at Basic Attention Token, because Basic Attention Token has been rumored to be added to Coinbase for quite some time. A little while ago, I say a little while ago, it's probably 2.5 months ago or so, Coinbase came out with a list of 5 different altcoins that it was considering to add to Coinbase, and Basic Attention Token was one of them. I believe Lumens, 0x, and I forget the other 2 were among them that Coinbase was considering adding to to their platform. And Basic Attention Token has now been confirmed. Coinbase Pro is going to be listing Basic Attention Token. Coinbase has just announced the trading of Basic Attention Token. Coinbase has just announced that trading of the Basic Attention Token is soon to be enabled on the Coinbase Pro platform, and deposits of the token are now being accepted. Trading in the token, which runs on Ethereum, will actually begin after a market begins to formulate. So it's going to take a couple of days before they actually get everything up and running. And one thing I also want to make very clear is that when you log into your normal Coinbase account, Basic Attention Token isn't going to be there alongside Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash and Ethereum and everything else just yet, although that is coming in the future. Coinbase is just listing Basic Attention Token on Coinbase Pro for the moment. And this has caused quite a rally in Basic Attention Token. If we come back here and sort by change over the last 24 hours, you can see that's probably, I mean, you can never say for 100% certain why a market moved in the way that it did, but that's probably why Basic Attention Token is up 17.7% over the last 24 hours. And I could tell you guys one thing, as soon as I finish recording this video, I'm going to be going and buying a bunch of Basic Attention Token, because just about every single time that anything ever gets listed on Coinbase, it normally goes and breaks its all-time high pretty soon thereafter. Let me give you an example of that. If we come back here to Litecoin, let's go to Litecoin over US dollars. Actually, I have it over here on my list. Let's come down here to Litecoin over US dollars, and I want to zoom back out on the chart for Litecoin and show you guys when Litecoin got listed on Coinbase. Just looking at this chart, can you guys tell me when Litecoin got listed on Coinbase? It's kind of funny. You're going to hit yourself when you find out. Right there. That's when Litecoin got listed on Coinbase. It was right over here, and you saw what followed. This was in the middle of a bull market, albeit, but the fact that Litecoin did that after it got listed on Coinbase was a very, very big deal. Let's go ahead and delete that and zoom in on that, and I'll show you guys what happened. Litecoin was trading at around $4 back over here, I believe. Right around $4. Litecoin had been very, very stable. It just basically turned into a stable coin for most of 2017, or not most of 2017, but the first part of 2017. And then in late March, Litecoin got added to Coinbase, and I believe it was exactly this day right here, March 30th, 2017. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, that Litecoin got added to Coinbase. And Litecoin ran 100% in that day, and by the end of the year, Litecoin was trading at 100 times the valuation it was before it was listed on Coinbase. Now, with that in mind, you can't attribute all of that price action to Coinbase listing it. Coinbase is not that powerful in the cryptocurrency market. We were in a bull market. Litecoin's a good project. There are many other factors that went into Litecoin doing so well, but one thing that got Litecoin out of its rut down here where it was trading around $4 when many other cryptocurrencies like Ethereum were going on huge rallies was Litecoin being added to Coinbase. Coinbase is a very, very powerful company in this space, and they do have the ability to move markets with the way that they treat these different cryptocurrencies. So I'm very happy to see that Basic Attention Token has been added to Coinbase. I don't really have time in this video to get into specific technical analysis for Basic Attention Token. I'd rather talk about the fundamentals of BAT because that's really what drives markets in the long term as opposed to a couple of different technical indicators, albeit there are some technical indicators that are very important for the long term. But this is one of the most important things that has happened to BAT in quite some time. Let's go ahead and talk about Basic Attention Token because I'm actually quite a big fan of Basic Attention Token, and I have been for quite some time ever since I started researching it. And one of the big reasons that I'm a big fan of Basic Attention Token is because of, well, I should say there are two main reasons I'm a big fan of Basic Attention Token. One is the Basic Attention Token. I'm going to call it BAT from now because that is a bit of a mouthful. BAT is it actually works with something called the Brave browser. The Brave browser project is the primary effort behind BAT, which is aimed at rewarding users for enabling ads. Brave browser has ads disabled by default. I'm not going to get into the rest of this, guys. You can read this article, but the point is basically that Brave browser is a type of browser that tries to combat the way that ads are done right now. If you watch this video, you probably saw an ad before this. You probably already seen one, maybe two ads on into this video, and that's because that's the way YouTubers make their money. That's the way that companies generate paid traffic, generate cold traffic. That's the way that you actually just do business online, is through advertising. But it's not really a great system. I'm not really a big fan of it, even though I work in it. I'm going to be running ads for the course pretty soon. I run ads on these videos, of course, but it's not really the best way to do it because, one, it's not very profitable for the end user who is having those ads run on their platform. It's annoying, etc., etc., etc. I don't need to explain why ads are not exactly what you want to see, and Brave browser is trying to tackle that. I'm not going to get into the specifics of what Brave is doing at the moment, but I do really like the Brave project, and one of the reasons I really like the Brave project and the Basic Attention Token project is because of a fellow named Brendan Eich. You guys may have heard of this fellow before, and if you have, well, good on you because this guy is a G. I'm going to go ahead and read from his Wikipedia page here, and I'm going to elaborate on him a little bit because this guy is behind Basic Attention Token and Brave browser, and he's also behind something that you may have heard of called JavaScript and Mozilla. This guy created JavaScript, and he co-founded Mozilla, which became Mozilla Firefox, which some of you guys may be watching this video on right now. Brendan Eich, born the 4th of July, 1964, that's funny, I didn't know his birthday was on Independence Day, is an American technologist and creator of the JavaScript programming language. You know, he just created JavaScript. That's no big deal. He also co-founded the Mozilla Project, the Mozilla the Mozilla Foundation, and the Mozilla Corporation, and served as the Mozilla Corporation's CTO and briefly its CEO. And he is currently the CEO of Brave Software, which is of course working with Basic Attention Token. Guys, one of the most important things that you can do when looking at an ICO or an altcoin and trying to determine whether or not you want to invest in it, and when you're looking at a startup and trying to get an idea of whether or not it's going to be successful, one of the best things that you can do is go down, look at the bottom of the page, and see where it says who's working on the project, and look at the pedigree of the people that are working on the project. And I have not read a better pedigree for someone behind a project ever. I don't think I've ever seen someone who has created so revolutionary things as JavaScript and Mozilla. There, of course, he's not Steve Jobs, but this guy knows what he's talking about, and he definitely has the pedigree to back up the fact that I do think that this is going to be doing, that Basic Attention Token and Brave are going to be very successful. I'm very happy that Basic Attention Token, I already said I was going to say BAT, that BAT has been listed on Coinbase Pro, that is coming to Coinbase, and I do like the token itself. Anyway, guys, tell me in the comment section down below what you think of the technical analysis in today's video. Do you think Bitcoin's going to break bullish out of that triangle pattern that we are currently in, or do you think it's going to break bearish and come down below this uptrend of support? Which direction do you guys think this market's going to go? I think it's going to break bullish. Of course, I've been wrong in the past, and I will be in the future, as has any human being ever been before. But I do think we're going to break bullish. Tell me in the comment section down below what you think about that. Also, tell me if you guys are going to run over and buy some BAT right now. I know as soon as this video is done, I'm going to be firing up Binance and getting some long-term positions in Basic Attention Token because, like I said, just about any time Coinbase gets involved with a cryptocurrency, it tends to do very well, and I think it will end up doing very, very well moving into the next bull market because when you have new people stepping into the space, one of the first places they go is Coinbase, and then if they get the exposure to that cryptocurrency there, then they kind of almost have an unfair advantage. It's almost not even fair to the rest of the altcoin market if you're not listed on Coinbase. Anyway, guys, that's basically going to do it for this video. I do want to thank each and every single one of you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, definitely consider dropping a like and hitting that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.